Hi my loves, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Welcome to another TBR video. Today we are choosing our October TBR, which is just absolutely crazy. I say this every single month, but it just feels like time is going so quickly. And I thought we'd have a bit of fun for this TBR and ask you guys, my followers, to give me the most bizarre, original, unique kind of prompts for my TBR jar this month. And I did get some bizarre prompts just like I wanted. And I put them all in this little cup. I think there was about 12 or something. We'll probably only pick 5 or 6. I'm getting better at my monthly TBRs. I did read quite a few from my last month TBR, which you'll see in my wrap up, but I'm still not amazing. So I don't set extremely high TBRs because I'm a mood reader and I can't help it. This is my one of my TBR stacks, kind of my immediate TBR stacks, but I also have a few books scattered throughout my bookshelf that I haven't read yet as well. So yeah, we'll see what comes from this video. So without further ado, let's just get started. All right, the first prompt is a Christmas book in October. I saw that and I just really liked that prompt. I didn't use every single prompt I got, by the way, just because there was so many, but I just kind of scrolled through and picked either the most repetitive ones or just some of the most bizarre ones. So I don't actually have any Christmas books on my shelf with me, but I do know my dear friend Emily, she posted a video the other day of Christmas book recommendations. So I'm just gonna go to that. The only other Christmas book that I have in mind is by Lucy Score. I can't remember what it's called though. I know Tessa Bailey has a few Christmas books and I do really like Tessa Bailey's writing. I think she's really easy and digestible. But honestly, I think I'm gonna go with the Lucy Score Christmas book because I saw so many good things about that last year, when it was Christmas time. I can't remember what it's called, hang on. The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. Okay, this is gonna be our first one on our TBR. I will either order the physical copy or just read it on my Kindle, but I have seen so many good things about this book. And I really like Lucy Score's writing. I really liked her Knock'em Out series. So that is the first book on our TBR. Now for the, next prompt. This one just fell out, so I guess I'm supposed to do this one. Shuffle your playlist and pick a book that matches the song that plays from your playlist. I love this prompt. I think this is so original. Honestly, a lot of my playlists include a lot of Taylor Swift, so we may be getting that, but I'm just kind of gonna do my liked songs. Bad Dancing is my to-go playlist, and we're gonna put it on shuffle. Love Story by Taylor Swift was the first one up. That makes it really easy because I know this song inside out, so at least I can pick a vibe. Honestly though, not a lot of romance books on my TBR. Give me a sec. I have quite literally been on a romance phase at the moment and just reading only romance books, so I've kind of been getting through all my... Okay, technically this is a fantasy book, but I think it's going to fit the prompt best out of everything else on my shelf because really, not a lot's fitting this. But this is technically a reread and it is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I read this back when I was in grade 9 or something, so the details on this are foggy. But from what I remember, there is such a clear connection between these two, and also just the vibes of love story, balls and all that kind of stuff. We have so much of that in Cassandra Clare's world, the Shadowhunters world. So I feel this does actually match the prompt pretty perfectly, and I think it'll just be the perfect book for me to read. I've been dying to reread this series and just dying to do a full Cassandra Clare reread. I love the Last Hours series. That's a trilogy that is one of my favorite of all time. If you didn't know, Cassandra Clare has interconnected series all set in the same world. So this is the Shadowhunters world. I would recommend starting out with the Mortal Instruments series. It's also City of Bones is the first book. It's not my favorite series by her, but I just think it sets up and introduces the world and characters so well. And then A Clockwork Angel, Last Hours series, they're all such good trilogies that just kind of mesh in so well. I just think Cassandra Clare is the queen of romantasy and she needs a lot more hype. So I think I'm gonna pick this one for the second prompt. All right, the third prompt, a book that is haunting you that you don't own yet, that you've just been wanting to read the entire time. Okay, there is a few of these. So number one, I think, is actually the first book in this series. I got sent the 4th book and now I just want to read the series. First book is Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. This is a fantasy romance series and I have just been so intrigued by it for so long, so I just hold this up when I'm talking about this one. Also, Glow of the Everflame, that is the second book to Spark of the Everflame. I don't own it yet because it's on Kindle Unlimited and it's getting traditionally published, so it's really hard to get it at the moment because it's not quite traditionally published. But Glow of the Everflame is definitely one on my TBR that I've been just wanting and thinking about all the time. And probably the only other one is Treacherous, I think it is, by Chloe Welsh. So this is her other series. It's not Boys of Tommen, but she has another series. And that has been really intriguing me as well. I think the first book's Treacherous. I think it's called the Carter Kids series. I'll put the cover up here somewhere. But that has also been really intriguing me. Oh, I'm really confused. I'm torn between this series and Treacherous because I'm really drawn to this series at the moment and I'm wanting more fantasy romance. I've heard very mixed things about Treacherous and I know that it's quite deep. So I think I'm going to go with this series just because I know Treacherous is like very emotional and I feel like I have to go into that when I'm in the right headspace, and I don't know if I will be this month or not. So I think we're going to play it safe. I know, boring, but we're going to play it safe and go with Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. I just think it's going to be a fun romantasy read. All right, fourth prompt. A book that reminds you of your perfume scent. Again, who comes up with this kind of stuff? You guys are geniuses. Okay, so my perfume scent is like a rosy, very floral perfume scent. It is literally called Rosé. So I feel like I'm gonna go with something quite refreshing, quite spring-like almost. If I hadn't read Once Upon a Broken Heart, this would be like the perfect prompt for it. What I'm most like getting drawn to, cover-wise only, is Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I feel like that's definitely giving like elegant, subtle kind of beauty. Most of these are fantasy books, so I feel like they're not going to give rose. The only other book that's giving like rosé is House of Beating Wings, because literally it just has roses like on the spine and on the cover. And it's a romantasy, so it's kind of giving like, you know, fun, whatever. I feel like this could fit the prompt. I feel like I'm definitely more in the mood for this than I am. Again, I feel like this is going to be a little bit heavy, and I don't think it fits the prompt that well. From what I know, it's not like a fun romance kind of book. It's more of a contemporary fiction kind of book. So if we're going for like vibes of the book, I think this one will probably fit the prompt rose like the best and kind of remind me of the scent of my perfume. So we're going to go with House of Beating Wings. This is basically just a romantasy. It says, until an oracle predicted my regal future, I never imagined myself rising above the curve of my round ears. After all, I was the magicless halfling loved by the beasts, but loathed by every pure-blood fairy in the court. Well, all but one. So yes, so romantasy. Is she like living in the woods or something? Is that why she's loved by beasts or something? I don't know. I'm a little bit confused if I'm going to be honest, but hey, we can go in blind and we can figure out together. All right, this will be the fifth prompt. I'll see what I pick, because I feel like all of these romantasies at the moment, and we could have a little bit more variation than that. A book high school you would have read. Okay, this is fun. This is fun. I feel like I can definitely get one of these books for that. The first one that I immediately am drawn to is The Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. Literally just because of the academy part. I am like, and still am, obsessed with any kind of magic school. Like Harry Potter was my first love, my first big series that I fell in love with. And that pretty much just like ignited my love for academy settings, school settings in fantasy books. So I think this is a fantasy book or a dark academia book. Yeah, it says a school of magic hidden in secret pockets of Savannah. So our main protagonist has been chosen because she has the gift of persuasion, and like other people have different gifts at this school. Like that just in itself would have intrigued me so much. So this is definitely a contender. Honestly, my taste hasn't changed that much since high school, if I'm going to be honest. The only other book I might have chosen was Girl Goddess Queen, because it is a Greek mythology inspired like retelling fantasy romance type situation. And I was obsessed with like anything mythology inspired fantasy, like obsessed. So this is a Persephone and Hades retelling. It says, they said that Persephone was a pawn in the politics of other gods, that Hades kidnapped Persephone to be his bride, that her mother was so distraught she caused Earth to start dying. Well, it's time to set the record straight. Persephone wasn't taken to hell. She jumped. She wanted an escape. There was no way she was going to be married off to some smug god more in love with himself than her. She's got big plans that will shake Mount Olympus to its very core. And falling in love with Underworld's rude and arrogant, incredibly annoying ruler Hades is absolutely not one of them, no matter how good he looks in Torchlight. Like that is something I would have been really, really drawn to as well, honestly. If we need to be true to my high school self, I think I'm going to go with this one because it's giving Twilight. It's giving academy setting. It's giving like kind of possibly just fun times at an academy. And it's probably a very well-written book. And when I read in high school, they were not well-written books. Like I was obsessed with Twilight. So it's probably a little bit different in that sense. But I feel like this is what, if I saw this at the library when I was young, I would have picked this up. Okay, I think we're gonna go for one more prompt and hopefully we can just pick a small book from this prompt. The ugliest book cover I own. Yeah, okay, well we can try pick a small book. Hang on. Let me have a look. I am so sorry if you can hear some like noise in the background. The people above me in the apartment block have decided they want to renovate. So good thing this is the last prompt because yeah. Anyway, I think I scanned my bookshelves and I think this is probably the ugliest book cover I own. Honestly, if there's going to be an ugly book cover, I'll usually read it on my Kindle, which is why I don't really own a lot. But I think here's a 10. I'm sorry, I do not mean any offense into whoever designed like this book cover. It's like, it's a fine book cover. I just don't like this color at all. And I'm not one for cartoon covers. I really am not. There's very few cartoon covers I like, but just this, I don't know, it's not ugly. ugly, but it's just probably my least favorite book cover I own. And this is just a cute little romance. So I kind of like wanted a little romance to break up all this fantasy, but I think it is a soccer romance. When Covenley finally qualify for the Championships League, they're determined to stay there and bring the renowned number 10 Tony Garrett, who urgently needs a career boost after being snapped falling out of nightclubs during a very public breakup. When Tony is late to his first conference, it looks like some things never change. Some things never change. But soon Jenny begins to suspect that there may be more to this rough diamond than meets the eye. Will she put her career on the line for a second chance at love? What's a second chance romance? That's fun. I like second chance romances. I don't think this will be anything groundbreaking, but I do think it'll break up all the fantasy we've got going on. So let's go through my TBR for the month of October. Starting out with the Christmas fix, because you can't read Christmas books too early. Like, I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of the year. So getting in the spirit early, I'm just all here for. This is by Lucy Score, and I think it is a small town romance. I'm just excited to get in that vibe, honestly. We then have a reread of A Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, one of my all-time favorite fantasy series. I am so excited to reread this, and let me know if you want a reading vlog of this because I would love to include it in one. I'm holding up this book, but I mean the first book in this series, which is Bonded by Thorns by Elizabeth Helen. This is a romantic book, and I honestly just want to binge this entire series. I'm kind of just in the mood for it, honestly. We then have another romantic, House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildstein. Not sure what I'm going to think of this one, but we'll see. Academy of Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is I think either dark academia or dark fantasy kind of situation set in academy. We love that school setting. And finally, Here's a 10 by Jessica Yale. Fun little soccer romance, sports romance. What isn't that a love? So thank you so much for watching today's video, and thank you so much if you sent in some prompts. That was so much fun to film. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you in my next video for probably my monthly wrap up. Bye.